First Alert update. A Green Bay man is charged after officials say his driving caused the deaths of his wife and mother on Christmas Day. 38-year-old Philip Slazewski is being held on a $300,000 cash bond. He faces 5 counts, including knowingly operating a vehicle while suspended, causing death. Prosecutors say the two-vehicle crash on I-43 near Fisher Creek Road. 38-year-old Heather Arcaro Slazewski and 71-year-old Clarine Slazewski. The one other girl riding with them and 2 people in the second vehicle were injured. Slazewski told authorities he was passing a vehicle and lost control of the wheel. He blamed a mechanical failure. He admitted to police he knew his license may have been suspended and that he used cocaine and smoked marijuana on Christmas Eve. The criminal complaint doesn't list any blood test results.